So many JRPGs I feel are missing some basic elements that not only would enhance my enjoyment of the games, but probably some of you as well. Now this is definitely a game by game or a case by case basis, but I do feel the majority of JRPGs can benefit from these features or mechanics or whatever you like to call them. I tried to be as universal about this as possible, but I'll admit one or two of these might come down to my own personal preference. So here we go with 5 features I think every JRPG should have. Before we begin, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It would seem that a lot of you are watching my videos, but not many are subscribed. Come back if you want some more JRPG goodness. Let's jam. All characters in the party gain experience after a battle. Imagine playing a JRPG for 60 hours, getting to the end of the game and then suddenly needing to use all 8 party members in the final battle, only to realize half of your roster isn't leveled up, leaving you with 2 choices: to spend a couple of hours leveling up those party members or struggle through the final battle with half a useless party. Or just blame yourself because you should have been rotating party members in and out in the first place. And it doesn't even have to be the final battle, it could be a boss battle mid-game and all of a sudden the story demands you use a character that you just haven't been using because, well, you didn't care for them or you just had a nice party dynamic without them. It hurts when you're forced to use that underleveled character for that battle. JRPG should be giving battle experience to all party members or at least a certain percentage of the overall battle experience points. Having all party members in sync level wise really encourages me and maybe some others to switch up party members to try different strategies and team compositions. I know personally when a couple of party members are lower level, I kind of want to use them. Now back in the day, I'll say in the PS1, maybe PS2 era, I enjoyed leveling up all my party members one at a time, but now, ain't nobody got time for that. I mean, I can do it if I'm forced to and I have no other choice, but really, it's just time consuming. Even most developers are starting to take notice of this, and universal party leveling is kind of the norm at this point, especially for mainstream JRPGs like Persona 5 and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Now, I do believe there's a different case to be had for tactical RPGs, as they are a little bit more intimate when it comes to each character and how you level them up, but hey, as I said in the beginning of this video, this is a case-by-case basis. Costumes or outfits in cutscenes. I don't know about you guys, but I love putting characters in different outfits when playing JRPGs. It's always awesome to see them running around in outfits that deviate from the norm. If I want to put a big old mecha helmet on my character, I have that option. And if I want to see characters talking about politics and saving the world from the brink of war in their swimsuits, then goddammit, that's my business. I personally try to do this only in second runs or just for fun after I'm done with the game, because I'll admit during major story sequences, it kind of breaks the immersion. But sometimes you just don't like what a character is wearing, even for their default outfit, and you want to change it. This was the case to me in Tales of Dysteria. I really didn't care for Severia's default outfit, so as soon as the God Eater outfit was made available, I switched to that outfit and didn't look back. For this one, I guess it all depends on the engine being used and how the character models are being used in cutscenes. I found it jarring when I'm playing a JRPG and I have characters in different outfits and a cutscene happens and they're back into their default costumes. So needless to say, I do appreciate the Xenoblade series, the Tales of series, and the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel games for doing this. No random battles. This one has pretty much died down in modern times. Random battles were a product of the time. Games couldn't handle many characters on screen or action taking place right on the map. I never really hated random battles, but when I go back to playing the older JRPG, I sometimes think to myself, how did I put up with this? I guess I just had no choice, especially if the encounter rate was much too high. I believe games with high encounter rates really wanted you to battle and gain experience as often as possible, but really it just came down to being outright annoying and almost hindered enjoyment of the game. Back in the day, some JRPGs had really long transitions into battles that kind of slowed down the pacing. Plus, it kind of made farming for materials or hunting down certain monsters for a quest kind of a chore. It's just easier when you see the enemy on the map before running into them to know if that's the one that you're looking for. If a JRPG comes out today and has random battles, then it should be trying to harken back to RPGs of old with some type of nostalgia factor that the developers intended for the whole game. A cutscene viewer. Often when I'm playing a JRPG, there are many cutscenes that are just so memorable, they're worth revisiting. That's where a cutscene viewer of some sort comes into play. I remember back in the day I would try to save multiple save files for the sake of just wanting to watch some cutscenes over again. Hell, I still do it. I have a save file for Persona 5 to see the moment Anna awakens to a persona, and I have multiple save files for Trails of Cold Steel 4 for important crucial moments like the battle on the Pantagruel. This is a feature I'm thankful the Xenoblade games gives us. Now this was a real issue, especially for me back in the day, but with the world's most convenient website being YouTube, it's really just a couple of clicks away to to view a cutscene from a game in seconds. But there's a bit of a snag I ran into doing that. I remember wanting to view the ending for Cold Steel 3 again, and I finished the game. I didn't feel like loading up my save files, so I searched for it on YouTube, and what happened? Thanks to YouTube's layout, I got spoiled with a thumbnail and a title in the recommended section for the ending of Cold Steel 4. So if there was just a cutscene viewer in the game, that wouldn't have happened. Or maybe I should have just reloaded my save file and looked at the ending manually instead of looking it up on YouTube. Who knows? Fast forward turbo mode. This one is definitely a case-by-case basis. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel games are one of the ones that started this for more modern games, and to be honest, the Cold Steel series needed this feature. The series was constantly being criticized for being slow and just a drag to get through, so what better way to alleviate that than to add a fast forward turbo mode? And this series has benefited big time from this feature. I know I use the fast forward function to get through some of the longer magic spells and F-scraps. I don't use it when it comes to cutscenes, but I do know some people who literally go through the entire game with turbo mode on. This is just wild to me. At that point, I feel like you're kind of not really soaking in everything when it comes to the world of Legend of Heroes, but going forward, I really don't see these games not having a turbo mode. Now, when other JRPGs are coming out today, it depends on the speed of the battle system and the skills of the characters. I know in a game like Atelier Ryza 2, the game doesn't need turbo mode because the game runs just fine and at an adequate speed, or just action JRPGs in general shouldn't really need it at all. But turn-based RPGs or tactical RPGs like Fire Emblem Three Houses and Disgaea, yeah, they can benefit from it, especially with Disgaea its outlandish and completely overly dramatic but completely warranted attack animations. In turn-based RPGs like Persona 5, Dragon Quest XI, or even Pokemon, we don't exactly ask for a turbo mode or speed up options. Even though Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition added one, the original game was just fine without it. These turn-based games move at an appropriate speed and we really don't need them to be sped up. I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt, but I feel like a lot of people would probably just be playing the games sped up and not taking it all in, as I mentioned earlier with Cold Steel. But I guess everyone's experience is their own and they can play the game however they wish. All I know is if HD remasters continue to become a thing going forward, and depending on the level of the remake or remaster, there should be some sort of option to speed things up. I know if Shadow Arts Covenant or Xenosaga gets re-released as remasters, they should probably have an option to speed up combat, especially since the hardware they will be played on are much more powerful and should be able to easily handle sped up actions. Again, this hinges on the level of the remake or the remaster. If the game is completely reconstructed from the ground up, then it should just run at a good enough speed. But if it's just a remaster, then there's no real reason it shouldn't have options to bring about a turbo mode of some sorts, or just increase the game's overall speed to make it much faster than its original release. So those are my 5 features or mechanics I would like to see in almost every JRPG. As I said earlier, this was definitely a case-by-case basis, and I tried to keep it as features that every JRPG could possibly have, but I'm sure some of you will have something to say about one of these or all of them for that matter. Let me know down below. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. That's all for now. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.